Welcome to another episode of Reps and Cool Music. It's a very late recording because I just came to the gym very late and I spent a lot of time there because, there were lots of good things happening at the gym. For instance, I, I seem to be adding weight every time I go there. But that's also because it's like a new surge in newbie games. It's like after being absent from training for almost a whole year, it does. My body responds to everything I do training wise. But I started running on the treadmill even. My knee was well enough for that. But the problem is that my left leg is still stronger and more muscular than my right leg. So when I run, a lot of force and weight is being put on my left leg. So afterwards, when I was squatting, it hurts even with the bar. It was not so bad with the bar, but even when I just added like 100 pounds or 40 kilos, it was like that's no weight at all. But I started to feel pain already, so I'm like, I did up it to 60 kilos, which is 135 pounds. Hurt. So I'm like, no way, I'm not doing squats today. So I I did do the deadlift. There I advanced. I just kept on adding weight because nothing felt heavy to me. But I was still careful to not injure myself because I haven't been like hardcore in the game for a while. I went as far as 152.5 kilos. That's 335 pounds. That wasn't hard. I didn't need no belt. I didn't need any like those straps or that magnesium powder thing for better grip. Didn't need any of that. I just picked up the bar and it was no big deal for me. And that was quite a bit of weight. I'm like, I can lift more, but I'll just stop there because I use my common rational sense as well. That, next week I can add a little more weight. I will only add 5 more pounds anyway. I don't keep on piling on weight. But I did it this time. It was just to basically see where I'm at. But it wasn't a 1 rep max, even though I did 1 rep. Because I want to be careful. It's still quite a bit of weight, you know. And I noticed another improvement. I couldn't run, but I could still. I could run, but it started to hurt on the other knee. Oddly enough. But one thing that really surprised me was my footwork because there is like an aerobics room at the gym with a boxing bag. I tried boxing on it and I realized that all my calf training has really paid off. It's like, my cardiovascular system is not as powerful as it used to be, the cardio, but it seems like I'm more energy efficient, so that's why I could still endure because I have done so many reps on my calves. All those calf raises every day. So I have been used to like 200 to 300 calf raises even on a slow day and more on days where I want to do more. I did even 700 in a day. I didn't even feel done. So and but at the gym I do a lot fewer because I can add weight. but it has worked out in my favor. I'm a lot more energy efficient. My Taekwondo teacher, uh, he he could compliment me on blocks and how high my kicks were and how powerful they were, or what have you. But there was one thing he had a constant complaint about, that I was so heavy on my feet. He made me like bounce on my on my toes, and that kind of stuff a lot during training. But and I did jump rope and bicycle and all that stuff, but it was specialized strength training on my calves every day that really made me crack the code. It's like my footwork. I dance the way I never danced before. I dance around the boxing bag. I like boom, boom, boom. And then the boxing bag just swings like an opponent, right? And I just dance away and around and boom, 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 boom. Go with more attacks. So, and even one of my Taekwondo teachers happened to be there at the gym. And he was impressed. He's like, man, you couldn't have seriously knocked someone out with those punches. And I'm like, okay. I don't want to knock anybody out, but it's good to know that I do have some firepower in case of an emergency. But I'm already familiar with that. I haven't been in many fights as an adult, but a couple of times I had to defend myself. But last time that happened was at the Aussie concert when some crazy drunk Danish boy attacked me. But he was so weak and his technique was so terrible that I didn't even need to hit him. I just needed to evade his punches that were terrible and just put him to the ground and hold him. So, that was all I did. I didn't throw a single punch or a kick or anything. But time for the stoicism. Yes. What else? Well, I did even set another record. Record. None of those are records, but for this year and since my injury, those are my PRs. And I live in the moment like a stoic. I bench pressed 112.5. I didn't record it today, like my 110 kilo bench press, but that amounts to like 248 pounds. Wasn't heavy. I felt a little bit, but that's because I stopped the weight on my chest and paused it at the bottom. But that's how a legit competition powerlifting bench press is anyway. But sometimes I extend the pause. But that's good. My powerlifting skills will be better. And it seems like I can keep adding weight and I still just go to the gym to lift weights twice a week. I think that works for me because there is a lot of other things to work on. Cardio, martial arts, calisthenics, that type of stuff. And as I get in better shape, I will start getting out running when my legs are evenly matched, because now I don't think the knee is much of a problem anymore. Maybe a little bit, but now the main issue is that my left leg is more muscular than the other leg, and running in the long run can actually stress the other knee. I don't want to destroy that knee too. So, yeah, I have to be careful. I still need to be careful even though I am becoming stronger every workout. It almost feels like I'm on steroids. Like I'm experiencing a second youth. It's good. It's good. It's good for a man who have... I'm supposedly so old. I'm like 36. I started to really feel old as well. But you know what? Feeling all that strength growing in me makes me feel young again. It feels very good. Very good. I have to keep growing, keep developing myself. But focus more on martial arts than just becoming as big as possible. You know, fighters have the best looking bodies, well balanced between muscles, endurance, and low body fat. Fighters have abs. I don't intend to go in the ring and fight, but I certainly want to look like one who does and feel like one. I love martial arts, I love cardio, I love to use my body and be agile as well as strong. Okay, this one I read, then it's this one. April the 17th. No harm, no foul. Do away with the opinion I am harmed, and the harm is cast away too. Do away with being harmed, and harm disappears. Marcus Aurelius Meditations. A word can have multiple meanings. One usage can be harsh and another might be completely innocent. The same word can mean a cruel slur or a pile of sticks. In the same way, something said sarcastically differs drastically from something that was pointed and mean. The interpretation of a remark or a word has an immense amount of power. It's the difference between a laugh and hurt feelings. The difference between a fight breaking out and two people connecting. This is why it is so important to control the biases and lenses we bring to our interactions. When you hear or see something, which interpretation do you jump to? What is your default interpretation of someone else's intention? If being upset or hurt is something you like to experience less often, then make sure your interpretations of others' words make that possible. Choose the right inference from someone's actions or from external events, and it's a lot more likely that you have the right response. Whoo! I should have learned this a long time ago. I would have saved myself so much trouble. People get offended by everything. What about choosing not to be offended? No matter what people say. If a guy says it's okay to molest children, you don't have to be upset or crazy about it. Just say, no, it's not. Because it's not. But you don't be mad. Don't be mad. You'll be surprised. But it is something to be mad about. I know. That's not okay. But still, that's putting it on the extreme. You never have to shout your opinions at anyone, no matter how crazy something that the person says, right? Don't be offended and there will be a lot less trouble, you know? Lot less trouble. That doesn't mean being weak, but it means not responding to bullshit, you know? If someone tries to pick a fight with you, if you can walk away from it, do it. Just walk. If you have to defend yourself, if that guy just runs after you and attacks you, well, do your best. Or your worst. Well, at least defend yourself. Anyway. But most things that people do or say that is bad can be ignored. We can choose to be better than bullshit. We can choose to be better than lies and deceit. We can choose to be better than insults, than bullying. You know? Stoicism would be so useful. Think about it. Kids in school getting bullied. What if the kids who got bullied didn't care? Unless it's physical bullying, that's worse. So, martial arts and stoicism. So you can defend yourself physically and mentally. Stoicism is my martial arts. It's my self-defense. Because most likely I won't have to fight anyone again if I'm good at making the right choices, but you never know. Some lunatic might jump out of nowhere and I just have to react. At least I'm in shape. I'm sharp. I can survive. And oh, but there is never a guarantee for anything. I can be overwhelmed and suddenly just get killed by a random crazy man. But the thing is, that is not something I should walk around worrying about. Because all we have is the present. And we should live it to the best of our abilities. And on that note, have a nice evening and stay buff.